Welcome to the Do Zone, where we talk with real entrepreneurs doing real work who share their best tips, tricks, and stories about getting things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. Tag me at JT Literally and show me how you get things done. Every week, I'll pick the best post to feature across all my social networks. This podcast is brought to you by Factor One. If you're already at six figures in your business and looking to hit seven this year, there are three key shifts that you need to make right now in order for it to be possible. Go to iamfactor1.com now, and I'll not only share exactly what those three key shifts are, but also how you can get them set up for your business in less than 6 minutes. Once again, that's iamfactor1.com. Today's guest is Paul Childers. Paul is the father of two children, 10 and 5, and he's been married for 14 years. He has a passion for helping others however he can, and he's doing that currently through business credit consultation and education. Paul, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
Key to getting stuff done that most people don't think of is having a real clear intention on why you're doing it. Waking up each morning and having a clear goal for that morning that you want to get accomplished. So like in the morning, I want to get my Facebook posts out and I want to get a cold emailer put together. And I lay that out specifically for that day, the night before. So that way I can take actionable items and complete them in a timely manner and not forget about them. And I break that up by taking walks quick to clear my head, not get distracted, come back. And then I have a cutoff time every day by noon that this has to get done. And then every day by 4 that these sets have to get done, because I have ADHD, which I call, it's not attention deficit, it's intentional deficit disorder. So if I'm not very intentional about what I'm doing, I get to the end of the day and realize that I didn't get the things I intended to get done.
IDHD. I love it.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. So I've never heard that before, but I like it. Intention deficit disorder. And so one thing that you really said that stood out to me is the idea that you have to be clear on exactly what you want. And I 100% agree with this. The number one question, the first question, the only question that really matters until you answer it is, what do you want? And you're saying, in order to get more stuff done, you need to ask that question at the beginning of every day. What do you want out of today?
100%.
Man, yeah, I like that. So, and just out of curiosity, in that process that you've been kind of laying things out, it's kind of like, I don't want to have to think about what I'm going to wear tomorrow, so I'm just going to lay my clothes out the night before. When I wake up, I'm just getting into those clothes and I'm going. And so,
Yep.
In a way, you're getting into those task clothes that you laid out the night before, and you're just focusing on accomplishing that. And so, what led you to that? And can you give me an example of a time that really helped you just dominate the day?
Yeah, absolutely. So, being really a pretty new entrepreneur, and having kind of set up my company and really starting to get it growing here in about 2.5 months, what I realized quickly is that I didn't have the schedule to rely on of I had to be at work at this time every day because there's somebody else waiting there for me. And I knew enough about myself that if I didn't basically make it where if I didn't wake up when I intended to, I could at least roll out of bed and fall into like my clothes and my tasks and just keep running and go, or it wouldn't happen. And so it was just, for me, it was building in these little steps to eliminate distractions that could derail me for half hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, because of just, again, the way my brain works. And that really led me to reading a few books on just, habits, processes, and understanding that for myself, for my day to be successful, I had to understand what it was I wanted to accomplish that day and not get so caught up in, we all talk about the long term, what are we doing business for in the long run? And for me, it was like, I had to take that down to on a day-to-day basis. What am I in this for? What am I doing? And what am I intentionally wanting to create today? And what actions do I have to take? And how do I set that up the night before? so that I don't get distracted or allow myself to go lay on the couch and turn Netflix on and half a day's gone.
Yeah, man, it's just that intention has everything to do with it. If you're clear on what you want, then everything becomes binary at this point. And that's one thing that I've been kind of developing lately, where if you know what you want, then the next decision is binary. I could watch Netflix. Is Netflix going to get me what I want? Yes. No. All right. Don't do it. And next decision, next decision, next decision. It's all binary at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious. Absolutely. I'm curious. Let's talk about some business credit. And one thing that I'm sure that a lot of people really want to hear about is you talk about the idea that you can access 0% business credit cards, and you can get that limit up to $100,000 within a 6-month window. That doesn't even seem possible. How do I get $100,000 of business credit with 0 interest without giving away too much of the secret sauce? Like, what is the process for achieving that?
Yeah, so there's several steps to it. But it's really, we overcomplicate things just naturally because we're humans and that's what we do. But the biggest thing is understanding that banks are super finicky about what they look at when they're looking at your business. So making sure that you have all these little things that are checked off your boxes. So like your phone number is listed with 411. Those of us that are young, 411 is like, why would I ever do that? I know I didn't when I set my company up. But banks look at that, creditors look at that. So like, that's like phase 1 of everything. And then it's being intentional with how you're building it to the point where you're running almost everything you can through trade lines. Uline is a good one. Amazon Business is another good one. And it's going through the reportable functions of the 3 bureaus that you need, and being very intentional with how you're building it and utilizing it consistently month over month to get to that. You want to get to those corp cards is where you want to get to, which gets you access to those 0% low interest rates, higher limits that you have.
Tell me what you mean by corp cards.
So corporate cards, cards that are like Chase Corporate. Everybody thinks Amex Platinum is a good card to have. It doesn't report and doesn't do what you want to do. Where you want to get to is you want to get up to like a Divvy card. And then from there, you want to graduate up to like a Chase Corp card. And you can do that in, 4 to 6 months, typically, if you're very intentional with it. And it also depends on how much you're running through it. So.
Okay. And so that's interesting. It's almost contrarian because everything that we've heard to this point, Amex Platinum's great credit card, Chase Sapphire Reserve, that's not a business card, but Chase has Inc. I personally, I have an Amex Platinum and a Chase Inc. And you're saying there are levels above this that are going to create different benefits for you. And I'm curious, why don't we know about these?
It's set up intentionally that way, right? It's when you think about the thing, what I've found out with business credit is it's set up similarly to our tax programs, right? So those that know about it and are aware of it take advantage of it, but there's no incentive to educate other people on it. Because it kind of does create a leg up for those that know how to use it and utilize it. And I believe in fair play for everybody that wants to have an even playing field as much as they can. So I joined up with a company that allows us to do that and get people access to those things. It's no different than if you're going out and finding a CPA that's willing to play in the gray area with taxes and, mimic the things that billionaires and our politicians are utilizing with.
So one question for clarification. So I think most entrepreneurs, like I can go to the Amex website or the Chase website, and I can apply for one of the cards that they have available, and I pay whatever their annual fee is, and I can get the card as long as I qualify. So these higher level cards, you mentioned Divvy, Chase Corporate, are there minimum qualifications for those? Is there a minimum spend requirement, a minimum income or revenue for your business? What are some of the thresholds that it takes to get there?
Yeah, the biggest threshold is getting your business credit score to 80+ and having a consistent trade line